I guess he was just a regular hedgehog after all.
Legend has it when all 7 Chaos Emeralds are collected, the power creates a miracle. I have 6 of them. They're mine. All mine.
I don't think so.
Shadow.
So that was your plan from the very beginning. Or was it a direct order from the president? Now I know who you are. You're that government spy, Rouge the Bat, aren't you?
So you did your homework, is that it? I would say that's an invasion of privacy.
I could say the same thing about you.
It looks like things aren't quite going your way, but since my job is done, I thought it was time to take what's mine and get out of this place.
You are one pathetic creature.
Look who's talking. What about you? Here are the results of the research project called the Ultimate Life Form. But if this picture is of the real ultimate life form named Shadow, then exactly who or what is standing in front of me?
This is not all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Shut up. Someone's trying to get the Eclipse cannon. There's not much time left before the cannon fires again. Can you get over there?
If you want to live, leave the Chaos Emeralds where they are. The fake emerald is good enough for me.
Do you actually believe that you're the real Shadow?
No
Even
doubt.
your memories might not be real, you know?
Even if my memories are not real, it's still me, Shadow. And I will fulfill my promise to Maria. That's the only thing that matters to me now.
And welcome back to more Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. We are now taking on the final stage of the Dark Story Final Chase, which looks a lot like Final Rush if you've already done the Hero Side story. And I think now would be a good time to actually discuss a problem I and many other people have with this game, and that is the plot. Now, plot in a Sonic game is not really a huge deal for most people. Like, most people can just see a Sonic game plot and be like, whatever. It's about the gameplay, but I do have problems with the story, and it's mostly continuity between the two. Eggman found the Chaos Emerald, right? Cool. I mean, we know he did actually get the Chaos Emerald. Sort of snuck away with it after Tails defeated him canonically. But there's the plot hole of Eggman got the emerald in the Hero Side story at the same time as Sonic destroying part of the Eclipse Cannon and shutting down the process. So that creates actually a problem because that hasn't happened yet, and yet Eggman already has the emerald. And there are little things like this throughout both storylines that just kind of stand out to me because it's like weird that they didn't catch some of these little things that are like, wait a second. So a lot of people do call into question which story is even canon. If like both the Hero Side and Dark Side can both be canon, I think they can. Just there's a lot of weird sloppy writing periodically. And you know, a lot of Sonic games don't really try to have really deep storylines because it's a game about a blue hedgehog. Low stakes. And that's okay, but like... Oh, by the way, here's the Mystic Melody is Shadow. Again, Shadow and Sonic are the only two... That sound is really annoying. Shadow and Sonic are the only two characters to get the Mystic Melody naturally through normal gameplay without actually having to go back to stages out of their way. So that's kind of a nice little detail. But like, Sonic Colors is a really good example, and that's always my go-to because it's like serious and kind of high stakes, and Unleashed is actually another good case of this. But the difference to me is they're one story. Simply put, trying to think if there's a better way to put it, and that there really isn't one. But again, that is the difference to me. They're one contained story across one character, so you don't have to worry about tying up threads. I talked about this in Essay 1. If you've seen that playthrough, you'll know what I meant. But basically the part where Gamma shows up in Knuckles' storyline canonically makes no sense, because Gamma goes to Red Mountain long after the egg carrier sinks, which is long after Knuckles is around Red Mountain, because he puts the emeralds in after Lost World. So why is Gamma there? Unless the mystic message from Tikal that Gamma received after getting Froggy in Station Square really put him off course, which could be. Yeah, he was just sort of on autopilot wandering around for a long time. But yeah, Sonic games do try too hard. This is also, I guess, a good time to talk about the level, because that's basically all I had to say about the story. It's a good story in theory, but it's just got a lot of holes. And most of those holes come from trying to tell two stories at once. And again, some argue that the SA1 method is better of having all the characters separated, like, oh, if you don't want to play Bake the Cat, for example, there's nothing stopping you from, like, skipping him. And that's a valid argument. You can just load up a file with Supersonic already unlocked if you don't want to play as Bake the Cat, but you can still get enjoyment out of Sonic and Tails, say, for example, without really having to get through all the fluff. And I think that is an argument people make about this game is, you know, as you can see, Sonic and Shadow have some pretty solid levels, but you have to go through a lot of fluff to get there, unfortunately. Anyway, that's Final Chase. There's a lot of gravity. It didn't screw me over, so that was great. Yeah, I'm actually talking about the level because I forgot to. Or got sidetracked. It's pretty standard, very rail-based like Final Rush, but again, with the gravity mechanic, which is actually really glitchy, so I'm glad I didn't have any incidents. But with that, we are done with the main Dark Side stages.
Here we go. Too easy for me. You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were in exploded in space.
You know, what can I say? I die hard.
So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see. But you know, I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end.
Alright, Shadow. Time for me to finish this.
And now we're finding Sonic as Shadow. I almost said it backwards, but yeah, that's actually a shortened cutscene. Ironically, that was the cutscene I saw first because I did beat the Dark Story first when I was a kid because I got stuck at Aquatic Mine. That is not an exaggeration. And I ended up by sort of luck beating Security Hall first. So, same fight as Sonic, you just kind of want to bait him into attacking, then you attack him back. And for some reason I stopped running even though I was holding up on the control stick the entire time. Now I'm actually letting go. Yeah, he stops when the attack goes off. That's weird. I don't remember that happening ever before. So I'm gonna jump actually.
I failed. I told you, I'm
This completes my plan to take over the world. Now begins the glorious era of the Empire of Eggman.
So there's a little bit of a hitch in the plan for world domination, but we can't actually find that out yet. Well, one, it's hard to fire a cannon when it kind of blew up, but again, for some reason it works in later games, so I guess Sonic didn't damage it too badly with the fake emerald. But this also creates a plot hole of how can both endings actually be true? Because Sonic uses the fake emerald, right? To damage the thing by switching out the emeralds. But Eggman was able to place the emeralds, so I'm a little bit confused on the continuity between the two stories. And again, I think it's just a consequence of trying to tell two overlapping stories, as it's hard to have them feel self-contained while actually still being separated. That's actually the same thing. What I meant was self-contained but still connected. It's sort of a difficult balance. But yeah, Darkside's story, having played through all the levels, I would say Shadow's levels are pretty solid, but still not quite to the level of Sonic's because they tend to just generally be straight lines. It feels like, more so than Sonic's levels, which have a little bit more variety to the overall layouts. Eggman definitely has the best levels of the Darkside story, ironically, because the robot mech gameplay actually works pretty well for him. It fits him. And Rouge has honestly worse levels, I would say, than Shadow. Not Shadow, Knuckles. And that's actually not saying much, because Knuckles' levels are pretty terrible at parts. Specifically Death Chamber and Meteor Herd. We ended up getting pretty lucky with Mad Space and also especially Security Hall, so it was not nearly as much of a headache as I expected. This was actually a really good run of the Darkside story, I'd say. But yeah, we still have one more story left because, yeah, there's a giant flashing warning sign, so clearly something is going wrong, but we'll have to find that out next time when we start the last story. So thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next time for more Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
The ultimate life form.
Chaos
Vengeance.
control.
Space
Desperation.
Supersonic.
Collision.
Untamed power of chaos.
Professor Gerald, the truth about 50 years ago.
Sonic Adventure 2. Last episode. Wishes are eternal.